So one of the striking things about this painting is, well, it's a fairly large painting, probably not far from 3 meters in height, square inch. And one of the things about Toulouse Lautrec that's quite interesting is the fact that he is, how to rather describe this? Yeah, on the one level, he's a very drawing-oriented painter. Right? This almost looks more like a drawing than it does a painting. And he, a little bit like a drawing, he hasn't worried about covering the full support, the canvas in this case. It's an interesting little detail also that the canvas itself is broken up, that it's seems to be pieced together from different smaller sections of canvas. Well, undoubtedly, Toulouse Lautrec is aware of this difference and is trying to play off of it in some ways, but maybe not quite in the same way that we might in the more contemporary art world. So Lagoulou and Valentin Le Désossé. So Lagoulou was a very famous dancer. So here she's presented in very colorful pinks and greens, bluish greens, whereas Valentin Le Désossé, so kind of his weird sort of boneless quality that we see somewhat represented here, and the strange splay of his legs and the hand that looks very, very peculiar. One thing that's interesting about Toulouse Lautrec is that often he will have he's not always very flattering with his subject matters, right? He doesn't hide if someone's a little bit fat or a little bit too thin or whatever. He presents it that way. So here, it's a very sketchy painting, right? It doesn't give us lots and lots of detail. There's lots of bare canvas that's shown in, just enough to kind of give us a little bit of a sense of the shapes of people and the positioning of different elements within the scene. And so this is presumably at the Moulin Rouge and a dance hall at the foot of Montmartre. We see in the background there's another woman with blondish hair, mostly in black but otherwise blondish, who seems to be Jeanne Avril, another famous dancer of the time period. So we have a little glimpse, almost a sketch of what the Moulin Rouge looked like to Toulouse Lautrec, right? So him making these quick representations of different figures on the dance floor, the performers, or the people that come to visit and so on. And one of the things that's interesting about the Moulin Rouge is of course, the performers themselves, but the interaction between the performers and the audience, and the mix of different parts of society. So it seems that the Moulin Rouge was a kind of, well, I don't know if it's quite right to call it a bal populaire, but it seems to attract the Paris populaire, so kind of working class Paris, but not only. It's really a mixing place. Probably most of the women that are there most of the time are probably more the performers, and the spectators are more the men. But it's not out of the question that some women would also come. And there's another painting that we'll look at from Toulouse Lautrec that shows seemingly quite wealthy woman that seems to be visiting, and that clearly is presented as out of place. She doesn't seem to be completely comfortable, and she seems to be rather judgmental of the people that she's seeing in that environment.